Okay, it says explaining. It's all to explain the mind of Simcha, Bina, even over Tainug. What we learned so far is that Simcha is expressed and can be expressed in myriads of details, and Adarabah, all of those details are expressive of true Achdus Apshuta, that embraces even everything, even detail. That's Bina. Bina is rooted in Pnimis HaNefesh, deeper than Chachma. So to understand this, Eima Bonim Smecha is explaining Teresh Shebal Peh. Teresh Shebal Peh, Teresh B'Ksav, and Teresh Shebal Peh, that's Chachma and Bina respectively. On the one hand, Teresh Shebal Peh merely develops Teresh B'Ksav, but it develops Teresh B'Ksav in a way, Mamash V'Ribi Protim, Alomis Ein Mispar, maidens without end, referring to halachas that are literally Ein Mispar. That's the diak in the pasuk Lisfonose Ein Mispar, to his Bina. There is no number, not the Chachmasei, because Chachma is not expressed in numbers altogether. Chachma is one nekuda. It's his Bina that is expressed in a way of Ein Mispar, without end. So this is the Maila. This is also explained also the Maila Dafke of Dalit Kaisis, which is the union of Simcha, the union of Bina, Gvura, Yitzchak, Ki Ata Avinu, we will say to him when Mashiach comes. That's the Maila of Yayin, which is Bina and Simcha. Now, that's the Maila of Dalit Kaisis, even over Matzah, which is Deraisa, and that's the union of Chachma. Matzah is Chachma. Can anybody say why? Why is Matzah the union? Where do we see Matzah is the union of Chachma? And that Dalit Kais is the union of Bina. Somebody?
Bittul and the matzah and Harkava and wine, yain.
Yeah. I mean, also in the Gimel Dalit component, the Dafka 3 matzahs and 4 cups of wine. He actually didn't talk about matzah. What you're saying is correct, but what it says in the Maimer.
Oh, it's Chachma Bina Das and Chachma Bina Chesed Gvura, no?
Yeah, the Gimel Meichen, right? The Abba and the Gimel Meichen, the Ima. The Dalit Meichen, the Ima. Which, as you said, the Chachma bin Das, the Gimel Meichen of Chachma. And the Dalit Meichen, this is the 3 strokes of the Shin on one side and 4 on the other. And of the Tefillin. And the Dalit Meichen, Tefillin Shiroshes Meichen, and the Dalit Meichen of Ima is Chachma Bina, but the Chiddush of Bina is that it develops, therefore, into a Midah, Chesed, and Gevurah, respectively, right or left, respectively. That's the Dalit Meichen, again, the 4 strokes of the Shin. So the Chayda singing of Divrei Sofrim. So that was the whole Hasbara. So how can we say this? Bring out the Maila here of Simcha / Bina over Chachma, which would mean the Maila of Teresh B'Ksav and Take. As I'll say that David says Chaviv Malai Divrei Sofrim Yosem Divrei Torah, more precious to me, more chomra to me, are the words of the Sofrim, the Chachamim, than the Torah. But the question is, what does this mean? How could that be? It's the Deraisa, the Rabbanan, and moreover, the Rabbanan is only a development of the Deraisa. She started to explain this in this third last paragraph of his. Someone said something. So I'm going to mute you. And let's unmute accordingly. Okay. She started to explain the Maila of Divrei Sofrim. It's al derech the Maila of Lois Asa over Asay, with having also the Maila of Mitzvah Asay. The Maila of Lois Asa of Mitzvah Asay is that Mitzvah Asay, you mamshich by doing a mitzvah, making a keli. So the fact that he's making the keli and that he is doing, it's bakbola. So that means he's drawing down the likus and the pnimius, that level of godliness that can be absorbed, the pnimius, seichel, midas, even in Maisa. Loisasa is self-negation. You don't do. Loisasa connects us to a level of alikus that is higher than Kalim. In the words of the Maimer, Oiris Nailim Yosef, Shleil Fiaracha Kalim. That's the Maila of Loisasa. That's why there's more Loisasa than Mitzvah Saseh. It's why they're more universal than Mitzvah Saseh. You know, that explains in Tanya. Even though that Esa Doicha Loisasa explains there in Tanya in the Gas HaTshuva. So Divrei Sofrim has the mile of both. On the one hand, the whole objective, the whole genre in general, the whole embracing identity, if you like, of Divrei Sofrim is all loisase. It's all to protect. It's all to protect us, siogim and gdorim, fences and limits, to protect Torah law. Notwithstanding that, together with that, they have the positive mitzvahs, the zayin mitzvahs, the rabbanon. So it's both a mila of doing and not doing, which means that in our doing, we are mamshech that which we could not access ordinarily other than through not doing, through self-negation. In the words of the mind, b'dias hashlila. There's two kinds of knowledge. There's a knowledge that a person grasps, and then there's a knowledge that a person grasps by understanding what he doesn't understand. So he's not connecting to it directly, he's connecting to it indirectly. It's called Yediyas Hashlila. He approaches or appreciates the subject by stripping it from what it's not. In simple words, that's what B'li Gvul means. B'li Gvul is a statement. It's saying what it's not. It's not Gvul. Ein Sof. It's not. It doesn't have an end. That's a statement. And normally that remains beyond us. We just connect to it in the indirect way, pointing as it were. The Maila, so it embraces us by from Makifi. When it is Makam Mitzvah, so he embraces this level in a way that it embraces him, which is Meridik. That's the Kavana. But it cannot, by definition, be internalized, because it's beyond us. And yeah, that's the Maila of Divrei Sofrim, Dafka of the Chachamim, Neshamas Yisrael, of this chibur, of this fusion, that in Mekayim, being Mekayim Mitzvahs of the Divrei Sofrim, we are drawing into a pnimius, those oiris which are higher than Kalim by nature. So now continuing, let's read again. We just read the first few words of the last paragraph of Ois Dalet. Everyone's with me, we're all good, we're all on the same page, literally. Yeah?
Ja, begin hoe.
Mm-hmm. And this fusion of Bligvul and Gvul, although it's true, be'etzem of Torah, even Nigla, anochi havaya lekecha, but where is it patently expressed, transparently, it's in Pnimius HaTorah. This is connected to Yayin, this is in the Dalet Koses again, the Mabam Smecha. So Pnimius HaTorah is called the wine of Torah. How do we see in Pnimius HaTorah in the Yedua? It's known. The statement of the Rebbe Rashab as Mezitz Bazich in Chedem and Effend, learned, when sits alone in one's room and one opens, another Girsa learns, then the Kotetayra one feels. Now there's three expressions here: heart, one senses; heart, one has. That at least two of those expressions correspond to the opening of the Kotetayra and learning of the Kotetayra. Just opening the Kotetayra, that would be the field, the heart. Then you learn the Maimah yet. You just open it up and you realize, you know what is open before you. And then you learn it, then Hatman, you have it. Atzmos Ein Sof. End of quote. Eivish himself. In moving, so the Rebbe's question, how can we speak about grasping, Hatman, or even heart, or filled, means feel means feel, and heart means senses. How can one have a tfisa grasp in self about gedra saga klal, that the Eibush is not bound with the boundaries of intellect or rational at all? The Inyan is about his divrei sofrim. We said before the mile of divrei sofrim, shegam and yon mish mitzad atzm even those levels which themselves could never be connected to, rather than indirectly, nonetheless, through the Chachamim, the Mamshich, these Eiris Nailim, these lofty revelations, in a way of Kalim, you do the act, you do the mitzvah that they were misakim. So, that's the Chiddush of Pnimis HaTorah of Yayin. The wine of Torah. What are we doing now? We're learning on Maimah. So learning the Maimah, we take the Eibush to Atzmos Mamash in Kelim now Seichel. We're learning. We're saying the words. If you say them as a moreover, Pnimis HaTorah Beifan Nali Yisem Hashem Divrei Sofrim. Pnimis HaTorah is even higher than Divrei Sofrim. Kimash, Mishabakim, Adi Divrei Sofrim, Nishalas Maisa. Chachamim were masakin in Yodim how Maisa. Hain v'hainu sha'od nimshech b'asiyah gashmis. So Maisa is altogether an act of bittul. Chassidus explains the word to compel someone is ma. The context is the Bezdin forces you to give tzedakah. It's Maisa, not a tzedakah, be forcing. Every act of Maisa is bittul, because the human state by nature is to be in his head. To get down to specific acts, even the animal can do that. It's an act of Maisa. So it's one thing to say that the Chachamim, so inherent in Maisa is already in Shel Bittul. It's Taka Keli, it's a Maisa, he's lighting the Chanukah Menorah V'chulu. It's Inyan Shel Maisa. It's not such a Chiddush, it is a Chiddush, that the Eiris Nailim B'Yoysa, the Eiris that are not ordinarily containable, so he's containing, but he's containing it in the way of Maisa. Still, it's kind of a shlila. For a person to act, it's by definition a disciplinary thing. Otherwise, he ruminates things maybe this way, that way. He's a human being worthy of his name is absent-minded on a level by nature, because he's in the world of ideas. But then you got to live in the world, so you got to compel yourself. So the more intellectual a person is, the less practical. It requires discipline. So therefore, they have the Inyan of what? Of these Divrei Sofrim. It's one Inyan. It's one thing. But it's Maisa B'Poel. But they're not Mamshich, these Inyanim, we should understand them. Along comes when they came Chassidus, Mashenkim B'Pnimis HaTorah. Kivishabo, Chassidus Pnimis that it came. He means Chassidus Chabad. post Arizal and post Baal Shem Tov, because it draws deeper in etzem sheba ba'avona v'asag. But it's actually this that in Pnimis HaTorah we're passionate learning and talking about the highest madregas mamish till atzmos, and then kavayachal in atzmos. Nimshech merchav ha'atzmi, the atzmos ein sof ba'avona v'asag. In Pnimis HaTorah, the merchav ha'atzmi, the expansive, truly essential expansiveness, not relative expansiveness, relative to Gvul, but atzmi is the harchava of the Eibishter. So this is drawn where? In Avon Vasog, in Seich. All pointing to the mile of Divrei Sofrim, the mile of what? Of Yayin Shal Torah, Pnimis HaTorah. But now, much more has bought it, because this all relates to Simcha, right? The expression of Eim Habonim, the mother of children. Children are the midas. Eim is the mother is Bina. Smecha, Simcha, Simcha produces Simcha. You have Chesed and Gevurah without Simcha. Eim Habonim Smecha. So this is going to be explained even further. Beautiful mind coming from. I just glanced at it. We'll learn it together. It's beautiful. Till now, every mind is beautiful. 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 Every mind that we're learning, especially we're learning together, we're mamshech from the merchav ha'atzmi, the atzmis ein sof in our head, in our minds. Okay. Oh, the Madain Tzarech love that Shaykhs that call on Alin Simcha. Gewalt, how does this all connect to Simcha? What's the pshayla? Because Simcha is all about, okay, let's read the mind. Simcha, the person feels himself very strongly in a very expansive, unlimited way. True, in lots of pratim, but it's all about his state of feeling, of being. He feels, on the contrary, he's self-aware and experiencing in a very powerful way. So the question is going to be, how is it the person's not in the way? How can the simcha on the one hand draw from Merchav Atzmi, and he still feels the Adarab, but that's the nature of simcha. Let's see the question. Just like understanding Elikus. So what's the simcha? Because you understood. So it's all bound. The simcha component, the joy in learning is only when you understand. The joy in learning. He's talking the focus on the simcha component here. And likewise, all midas, by definition, they're all subjective. I feel. I love. I understand. The simcha is because not about the simcha, in other words, is not the simcha of the subject matter. The simcha is I understand the simcha. That's what causes the simcha. He's not dancing for joy looking at the maimon on the shelf. But when he took it and he knows the maimon is there, see, this is there. But he learns it and understands it. That's when he's happy. That's when he experiences simcha.
So what's the question? He's experiencing this pashtus, or an aspect of it.
But that's a stira. That's a stira. That's a stira. We can't experience this pashtus atzmi and habib mitzias. So before you said, so let's make clear. You're asking, we just looked at the previous paragraph. That's the. But before we're learning about limud achsidus, okay, limud achsidus is magical in the truest sense. That the Nesiim were mamshich, the Inyan of bli gvul in gvul. It's divrei sofrim, the Nesiim. And he says, even more than Divrei Sofrim, because the closer we get to Mashiach's coming, the more Hanosi hu Akoil, and the deepest level of the Nosi are revealed. The Nesius. Good, so he's Mamshich the Indian, and even with my Seichel, Gvuli, and all my limitations, I'm entertaining Inyonim which are hiding in Seichel, but that's not my doing. The Divrei Sofrim were Mamshich, it's just a fact. Simcha is now my experience. Now we're talking about Simcha. How can my state of Simcha be at the same time be expressive of the Merchav Atzmi when my Metzias is in the way? And here it's my feeling. The question will develop the question further. In other words, now to me, my experience. The Maim is not my Uftu. The Maim is Uftu of the Divrei Sofrim, the Nesiim. And I'm the blessed recipient of this. To learn the Maimel, Gewalt. But now Simcha is something that I've generated, I'm creating myself. And so I'm creating it myself. It's my joy. How could this possibly be a keli for the Merchav Atzmi? Yesh Misha'oyim. By definition, I love. True, when you learn the Maim, it's I understand. Yeah, but you're understanding something which you could not. So it's not thanks to you. But you're connecting to the Merchav Atzmi. But it's completely subjective to begin with. Let's look further. The question is somewhat clearer. Yankee.
On surface level, I don't fully get the question, but maybe it'll get more clear.
Yeah, why not? Why not now? He's going to go further. But what is your question?
I don't have a question per se, I just don't fully get the question. In simple opinion. Like, is it why is he having simcha? Like, or how?
The experience of simcha to begin with, yes. The experience of simcha to begin with means that I am happy. So if I am happy, how can the happiness be blikvul? Pashut.
Okay. Okay, if simcha is something that you can applicable, how could he?
Moreover, how can I be happy from a blikvul thing? That would nullify me, not make me happy.
Okay.
If I'm connecting to the Merchav Atzmi, then there's tachlis abitl. I'm just transfixed. But if I'm dancing and expressing myself, I've eclipsed the blikvul. Not a keli for that. They cannot be expressed there. He made the statement. We have to understand it. That the protim, the simcha, the expression of it's a statement. We need to understand that in terms of the person's experience of simcha, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Further, I see he's not answering the question till the next paragraph. So let's go further. Omnam take kedeshi yinishal tfisa b'chinas likish ein lefiyadach hakelim klal. Omnam not to talk. However, elaborating on the question, in order to grasp a level of godliness which is totally beyond one's limits, shalchein in the nimshech l'abderach shalila, which is the only way to connect to it, is negation of self. So this would require bittul, not the feeling wonderful, feeling elated and feeling enjoyed, delighted, beautiful. But that's Magbola.
Is he saying that limit chassidus is an item from derech shlila?
No, as I said before, limit chassidus is one thing, because it's not thanks to you, me, that we're connecting to the blik gvul. The Rabbeim put the blik gvul in the gvul. Take the gvul, learn the ois. Yes, you have it. But simcha is something else. Simcha is my experience. How can my experience, not the fact that you learned the Maimer, my experience, my joy in none of the Maimer, whatever the simcha is, shal mitzvah, dalet kosis, whatever it is. How can my simcha be the keli for the merchav atzmi when I'm feeling my mitzias? That's between the Maimer. The Maimer is objective fact when you learn it. you're a keli. But if your joy in learning the Maimer, that will be the Shaila. The simcha that he has in learning the Maimer, that's Bagbola. That simcha cannot be a keli for the Bligvul.
When the appropriate response or feeling should just be bittul. Is that the end of the statement, so to speak?
Yeah. So therefore, yeah. Completely nullified. Not happy, thrilled, delighted. That's my mitzvahs. Yeah. Let's go further. The question is a whole paragraph. But number 47 in the text, even the Shamas of Tzadikim that serve the Eibishter with Av and Yira and Av. Hanim Shachas min habina v'das tegdulas ein so baruch hu, which is drawn as a result of the deep understanding in Hashem's greatness. Shamad shalem ha'belam ha'bri shaganid na'elyon. So what's their level? That's Tzadikim, as opposed to Tzadikim G'dolim. So Tzadikim stam their place, mother, their dwelling place is Elam Abriya, which is Elam Abina, which is the supernal Gan Eden. So it's even such tzaddikim in the Beilam Atzilus, Atzilus, where the revelation of godliness is higher, that can be grasped by the seichel of a nivra. Last machshavta d'loin tvis shom klal. They have no shaychus there. For who model tzaddikim g'dolim? That's only for the great tzaddikim. Shavidos and lamayla. Ma'ila fil b'chil tzchil b'chil nam shos min abina b'das b'gnas ebachu. Their avoid is higher than seichel. Their Yid and Av is higher than the Yid and Av that comes from understanding. What is their Avodah? Bittul mamash. Avidas Moishe b'chinas merkava mamash inza baruch hu. Their Avodah is being a merkava, a vehicle, mamash. There's no will of its own, no independence. The bottle it b'mitzias to be nullified. In b'mitzias, the entire being is solely nullified. We say to Mizem, moreover. Much more pratim in the shine. Let's go. To the Pashas HaShavua that year was Pashas Mitzayra. Binan the Goyim, the Goyim. Just as the Hakdom, everybody knows it that Chassidus is Masbid and the Goyim come from a very, very high Shirish L'mayla. That's expressed in the whiteness of it. The pshit is the leiv and the alien, but it comes down very low when there's, and it only happens to people of very lofty stature. But the shirish is very high. So it explains in the Torah what's the chet, what caused the Goyim to manifest down here. There's missing bittul. It's all kedusha, v'chulu, but it's missing bittul for a yid where such a level of bittul is demanded that will manifest in the body a reaction. It's explaining Chassidus that the goyim only happen. It's a reaction. It flushes to the surface of the skin because the body is intolerable of it. So it's only a very lofty Jew that the lack of bittul causes a rash, literally. Because Bemis you should be holding in a level of bittul. In subsequent generations, where a whole level, the levels of neshamas are much lower, where they have a very high tolerance for imperfection, very high tolerance for yeshes. Doesn't make us sick. Doesn't make us break out in blotches of white patches. So what's missing? This is all part of the shaila. What causes the negoyim is istalkus moichin the abba is bittul. Bina he has, but doesn't have bittul. Haino sheyesh gavkenis moichin the ima bina. He understands, and the elikus he understands, but he's missing what? He's missing moichin the abba. So what's his madrege? Look at this. Simcha vayislavos. He is besimcha and very animated. Shadei his bonus varotzo. His bonus in the course of the rotz and desire to merge with the Eibishter, but that's all his mitzias. That's what he wants and he understands. What could be higher? But the loya bittul vashuv shemitzad meichen dabas all rotzoi. He wants to be nichlal. Because missing the bittul of shuv. No, the Eibishter wants down here lamata. So is this simcha virtuous? He calls it simcha. It's very clear here that this simcha is deficient. And it would seem that all simcha would be deficient because all simcha is I'm excited and moved and understand that this is beautiful and I want more and I want to be closer. And that's what's missing. But that's what causes the of the goyim, that it's missing the what? The meichin, the abba, the bittel. What is missing is kelim. It starts with the kelim in Torah. What's the kelim in Torah? Is the teresh b'ksav, teresh b'al peh. Say the words, the letters. Teresh b'ksav, teresh b'al peh. That's the I have to look this up. That's b'chinas leah v'rochel. Leah v'rochel are the oisias. I'm not sure if they one is teresh b'ksav, teresh b'al peh could be, but they. The of Malchus, his letters, his oisias. That's what's missing. It's the rotzui, not the shuv. Because he wants to be close. It is all Kabbalah to see in the mind of it. But when there's a lack of meichen daba bittel nistayif, the consequence is ein nivnim partzufei le'avaroch. Looks like within Malchus itself, Malchus that is built, it's lacking. The Eibish's desire is dira b'tachtonim, which means Malchus, Leah, and Rochel, oisias, letters, words, which is all bound up with the world of Maisa. That's missing. The shuv that's missing. It's missing. V'yotzim t'morosum hadagoyim. It's a l'chayra. I don't know if it's a bit l'chayra instead of letters which are formed, black, highly defined images. What's left is this white, the white blotch. What's the white over there? It's not like the loiv and the alien. It's like the white space in the Sefer Torah between the letters. That's the bligvol. That's the rotzoi. He wants to merge with the brilliance, the whiteness of Alikus, which is the pshitas of Alikus, missing the oisias, the letters, the amshacha, the shuv, the dira b'tachtonim. Se'eis, apachas, beheres, the various levels of whiteness. They're all bachal, why? But the various levels of whiteness. That is the union of tzaras. That's the result. So he's in state of simcha. Simcha and islavus, his bonus, but it's all bina. It's missing chachma. So the ikar is chachma, ikar is bittul. So this simcha should be the keli of the merch of atzmi. Merch of atzmi did b'tachtoini. That's what's expressed. That's the shayla, right? Let's continue the end of the sentence. Where Vusham explains in look at the Torah. Shem Ekmusham Shemetzayra Oisi Uinyan Mighty Shem Ra. Metzayra is two words, Mighty Shem Ra. He brings out a bad name. Shohei Pepin Hashem Tov, by invoking that even name. Because the opposite of Shem Tov, what's a good name? Shinyan Torah. That's Torah. And dafka shame is letters, words. Teresh b'ksav, teresh b'al peh, rochel, leah, and rochel. He called out Torah kuli, shvayis shalakish baruch, all Torah is the Eibish's names. As stated in Zohar, the whole Torah is the Eibish's names, but the idea of names is the letters and words, amshach, gvul. Concluding v'haynish simcha v'islavos, when it's just simcha and excitement, yichal istayf, and you get chitzonim. So that can, from there, can end off down the road that Chitzonius and Klippa gets nourished by it. Why? Because of lack of bittul. Ve'chiasim says, concluding this, hit the nail on the head. Concluding the question, how does this all accord? Which we said till now, we said no, that dafka simcha mitzat shaychusa because bina, with emphasis bina is not chachma, not bittul, but bina. And here we're saying shal yodam megimchnes mercha va'atz midat v'sein sof. They bested himself. And if that's what it would be, so the result would not be a state of simcha, but bittul, oisius, kvetched, soldier, complete bittul and silence. That would be the result. How is simcha the result, which is the spashtas of his mitzias? Okay, that's the shayla. Beis Hashem will continue with God's help tomorrow. These Maimorim, somebody point us to it. The Maimorim of Chayesara will deal with this. Because the Zohar says that many attempted simcha and failed. Adam Noach, only Sarah, was successful. The good is because of a bittul. Noach drinks wine, and what happens is he shtaka and he disgraces himself, etc. Tempted avodah of simcha, but with very drastic negative consequences. So this is where simcha, that the humble ones dafka will increase in simcha in Hashem. That's what we're going next Beis Hashem tomorrow. Thanks everybody for joining. Good to see everybody.